What if I told you that for the first 200 years of Christianity, there wasn't a single church building? Not one. No steeples, no altars, no sacred spaces. Nothing. Now, you might think, well, they were just too poor, right? Or maybe they were too scared. After all, Christians were persecuted, hunted, hiding in the shadows. Makes sense that they couldn't build churches. Except, that's not quite true. Let's look at the money first. Were early Christians really too poor to build anything? Actually, no. From the very beginning, Christianity attracted some seriously wealthy people. On Paul's first missionary journey, he converted a Roman governor called Sergius Paulus. The Philippians were wealthy enough to financially support Paul's entire ministry. These weren't just peasants scraping by. There was money in the early church, real money. So if it wasn't poverty, maybe it was persecution? Well, here's where it gets interesting. Yes, Christians were persecuted, but the history is more complicated than we think. Christianity was technically illegal, but for most of those first 3 centuries, the Roman government largely ignored it. There were periods of intense persecution, absolutely, but there were also long stretches of nothing, just tolerance. Christians living their lives relatively undisturbed. But here's the thing that really makes you wonder. Even though they couldn't legally own property, that's true, they still could have built underground. And we know this because other groups did exactly that. The cult of Mithras? They built elaborate underground temples. Archaeologists have found them. The Jews during the 2nd century revolts? They constructed massive underground tunnel systems, places to hide, store weapons, even live. These systems were sophisticated, complex, dangerous to build. So Christians could have done the same thing. They had the money, they had periods of relative peace to do the work, and if they believed, like many Christians today, that you need a sacred space, an altar, a designated worship center to properly honor God, wouldn't they have done it? Wouldn't they have risked everything? Think about it. Today, churches raise millions. We ask the poor to give. We collect loans from banks. In fact, we go through great risks to build massive structures because we believe those buildings matter. We believe to honor God, we should build such magnificent worship centers. But when archaeologists go looking for 1st and 2nd century Christian worship centers, they find nothing. Zero. Not a single underground church, not one hidden altar. They found the Mithraic temples, they found the Jewish tunnels, but no Christian worship spaces. Not one. So persecution didn't stop them, money didn't stop them. What stopped them? The answer is simpler than you think. They just didn't believe they needed them. The earliest Christians, the ones who learned the faith from people who actually walked with Jesus, didn't think church buildings were part of Christianity at all. In fact, they believed the opposite. They believed that with Jesus, God had abolished the need for special sacred spaces. No temple, no building, no holy ground. Just people, communities, homes. Which raises a pretty massive question. How did something that the first Christians never considered essential become absolutely central to Christian faith? How did we go from "we don't need buildings" to "the building is where church happens"? What changed? When did it change? And here's the question that might make you uncomfortable. Was that change good? I'm not saying buildings are evil. I'm not even saying they're wrong. But shouldn't we at least ask the question? Shouldn't we wonder why the people closest to the time of Jesus saw Christianity one way, and we see it completely differently? What else have we changed without realizing it? What other assumptions have we inherited without questioning them? The early Christians had no buildings, but they turned the Roman Empire upside down. They grew exponentially. They transformed civilization without a single church. Maybe there's something there worth thinking about.